Yo, what is up guys, it's Ryan, I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be discussing Batman the Ride, the B&M inverted coaster at Six Flags St. Louis in Eureka, Missouri. Batman the Ride is one of the most underrated coasters that I've ever been on, and it's definitely one of my favorites I've ever been on. Why do I like it so much though? Stay tuned to find out. Before I go through the ride experience, layout, and give my thoughts on the ride, let's get into some of the history and the stats. Believe it or not, there are 14 of these Batman the Ride clones all over the world. Most of them reside in the United States at Six Flags parks, but some of them are in different locations all over the world, including the United States. Most of these clones are exactly the same, if not extremely close, with some very, very minute variations to adjust to the terrain they're installed in. The first ever Batman the Ride clone opened up at Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois, on May 9th, 1992. Some of these Batman clones were mirrored from the original prototype at Six Flags Great America. Basically that means if it originally went right, you go to the left, etc, etc. It's a pretty basic concept. Of all 14 Batman clones ever made, most of which still operate and exist in their original locations, however some of which were relocated. For example, Goliath at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas was relocated from the abandoned Six Flags New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. Surprisingly, only one of these Batman clones ever went defunct, and that was Lightning at Kuwait Entertainment Center. The Batman clone I will be discussing today will be the only one I've ever rode, and it's the one at Six Flags St. Louis, and that one opened on April 22nd, 1995. The one at St. Louis is also a mirrored model. The reason this review is exclusively for the one at Six Flags St. Louis is because in my opinion, each coaster likely has its own individual unique quirks, being owned by different parks, having different trains, having different maintenance teams, sets of wheels, different track, etc, etc. I personally believe they're all different. They're each an individual credit, so we should review them individually. So now that we have that brief history lesson out of the way, let's get into the stats. Batman the Ride is a height of 105 feet, a top speed of 50 miles per hour, 5 inversions, a G-force limit of 4, a duration of 2 minutes, and a track length of 2,693 feet. Now that the stats are out of the way, let's get into the ride experience. I only got to ride this 2 times in my weekend at Six Flags St. Louis. However, those 2 rides were absolutely bonkers insane. But why was it insane? Well, let's start with the drop. I wouldn't really say this is an average drop, but it's definitely not the absolute best drop I've ever been on ever. But for a B&M member, it's pretty good. I'd say it's on par with Raptor's drop. It's pretty whippy at the top. It's not a huge drop, so you don't pick up too much speed going into it, but you could definitely feel the torque on it, getting some momentum going. Everything after the drop, that's where my expectations were absolutely blown away. And when I mean blown away, I came into this park having this in my expectations to be one of the top 3 coasters there. I had figured it would be a pretty good ride, and it even blew those expectations out of the way. After you go down that drop, you go into your first of 5 inversions, which is the vertical loop. That vertical loop isn't the most insane inversion by itself, but I think what bewildered me is that we had already picked up a ton of momentum for one of these coasters, and it was only just after the first drop. It's not like the ride has been going for 30 seconds already. So I knew I was in for a good ride. Next up is your 0G roll, and that is one of the whippiest but smoothest at the same time 0G rolls that I have ever been on. And the transition from that vertical loop to that 0G roll is very, very quick. So if you're a fan of intensity, this is your ride. After that G roll, you go into another vertical loop, which is the third of 5 inversions on the ride. And it is super forceful, just like that first vertical loop. And the transition out of that G-roll is just as snappy as that first transition into the G-roll. So again, the pacing keeps up. After that second vertical loop, you then bank into the right into a very tight upward single helix. You go in a complete circle, one of the most forceful helixes I've ever been on. Then you go straight for just a little bit, then you bank to the left and go a little bit more outbanked. And then you go into your first wing over, which is your 4th inversion of the ride. By the way, those helixes are really, really intense. They were so forceful that I could literally, I thought my legs were going to fly off my body. My calves felt so much pinching and literally nerve-wracking because of how forceful it was. Like, you know that burning sensation you get in your legs when the ride is just super intense. That's what I felt like. And when I say nerve-wracking, that's not a bad thing. If you're a fan of intensity, that is really awesome. And that wing over, man, that thing is just as whippy. The pacing just keeps on getting faster and faster as the ride goes. The transitions keep on getting whippier and snappier the more the ride goes. After that first wing over, you then bank to the left and then go directly into the next wing over that goes in the opposite direction. And it's just pretty much a copy and paste of the first wing over, just mirrored. Then you bank to the right just a little bit and then you slam on the final brake run. And wow, that was one of the most intense coasters I have ever been on. That was insane. And another thing that people don't give this thing enough credit for, not only is it whippy, it is smooth. It might actually be the smoothest invert I've ever done, despite being the oldest I've ever done. I was bewildered by that. And I truly mean that with all sincerity. It didn't even have a rattle, which is crazy to believe that our most recent B&M member is only 7 years old, and it's probably the shakiest coaster at the park. That's really saying something about how well put together this ride is and how well Six Flags St. Louis takes care of this ride. I have much respect for that. If you're a coaster enthusiast like me, and you're one of the enthusiasts that prefer the older B&M restraints compared to the new ones they put on Banshee, Gatekeeper at Cedar Point, Wild Eagle at Dollywood, Thunderbird at Holiday World, etc. If you're not a fan of those vest restraints, you're in luck because this ride features some of the more traditional B&M restraints, which is just your standard over-the-shoulder, not too bulky, just very comfortable. I like both personally, but that's worth noting. I will say this though, the duration is a little bit shorter than most B&M inverts are. However, as I state here with all rides on this channel, more often than not, if the ride was longer, the odds are you would complain that the pacing fizzles out. So for me, I can look past it. Not a big deal for me. As for the theme, it's nothing too insane, but I will say, it's actually got a pretty decent theme. They play Batman music in the queue line. You enter the Bat Cave. You actually see the bat suits in there. And they've got, like, on the outside of the ride, through the queue line, you can see it's kind of like a factory type theme with a bat signal on it. It's nothing too insane, nothing close to what Disney or Universal can do. But for Six Flags, hey, I like the effort, and I'm a big DC Marvel nerd, so I really appreciate that. Overall, Batman the Ride at Six Flags St. Louis might be one of the best roller coasters out there. I'm dead serious. What it does well, it's comfortable, it's fast, it's got inversions, it's super intense, it's whippy, it's got everything I love in a roller coaster, and it packs a punch. The pacing's good from start to finish. You keep getting faster and faster. Whew. I love this roller coaster a lot. What am I giving Batman the Ride for a final score? For at least the one at St. Louis, I'm giving it a 100 out of 100. Yes, I've been giving that score out a lot lately. But when you knock a coaster out of the park, you knock it out of the park. And as a standalone, this ride is perfect. Go fight me down in the comments. I don't care. I love this ride. I love it, I love it, I love it. I wish this park would get talked about more. I wish this ride would get talked about more. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this ride. Specifically the one at Six Flags St. Louis. Do you agree with me? Do you have any disagreements? I'd love to hear them down below. That's all I have today for Batman the Ride at Six Flags St. Louis. If you like this video and want to see more unscripted roller coaster reviews by me, go check out our channel, Christian Coasters, the one you are watching currently, and go subscribe while you're at it. We have a playlist called Coaster Reviews, and I also have a lot of vlogs out from parks I visited, and a lot of fun visits from my own home park, Kings Island. Be sure to hit that bell and turn on post notifications so we can beat these YouTube algorithms and you guys will never miss a single one of my videos. With that being said, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Keep God number one. We'll see you guys next time, here at Christian Coasters, where we make epic roller coaster vlogs and videos. Peace!